out damn spot. Out, I say. And those were the words of Lady Macbeth. See, Lady Macbeth was an ambitious woman. Instead of taking her own ambition and making a business or making some type of bakery or whatever they would have back in those days, she wanted her husband to take the full lead. She wanted him to be the king of the entire world, the world being her. Because she had no reliability on her own mental. So she went to 3 witches, and those 3 witches gave her a reading. In that reading, they prophesied that her husband, Mr. Macbeth, would be king. So Lady Macbeth took it upon herself to set up a murder. King Duncan. So this is when I pose the question. If God already told you that you will be royalty, why would you go and set up this murder if the spot is already yours? The throne is already yours. So now she's dealing with this guilt. She's dealing with the sorrow. She's dealing with all the things she thought would make her happy. She didn't have to kill King Duncan. King Macbeth's throne was already established. And that's what happens when you let a woman who has no ambition of her own take over your empire. It will crumble. So, build your empire and get you a goddess. Get you a woman who is so full of God, a woman who is so full of life, a woman who is so full of herself that she doesn't have time to be worrying about your goals and how we're going to eat, because that is a man's position. A lot of times we get these women who are extremely ambitious, and don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing with having your own goals, having your own businesses, you're going to school. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being the best version of yourself. However, please remember that although you two are in a relationship, whatever type of ship that is, you are 2 different entities. At the end of the day, you all have different goals and will think completely different. However, it is imperative that you hear God's voice over the noise. Sometimes that woman who wants everything in the world but her own soul will be your downfall. So, are you selling your soul to a woman? I don't even want to call it a woman. Are you selling your soul to an incubus, to a succubus? Because remember, we're just a vessel, and any entity, any spirit can devour that vessel. And that's when you have to use discernment. If God already told you who you are, if the divine already made your throne was established while you were in the womb. Before you was born, your throne was already here. You don't have to fight anyone for what is yours. And if they wrongfully took your shit, they ain't take shit. They just copied. But it can never be you, because it doesn't have your ashe or your essence. And it's not going to work out. How they think it's going to work out, it's not going to work out in the way that they want to, because it's tainted. You can't have bad intentions when you encounter anyone. Don't be like Lady Macbeth and energy will flow. Lady Macbeth can be that man. A lot of times, women, we get in these relationships with these men who are soulless. Their ship has sailed, and here we are trying to put them in our own ship. No, their soul has sailed. Don't waste your time. And all the confirmation and all they have time for is money and women. That's life to them. That's what they say anyway. But they don't tell you at night, when nobody's picking up the fucking phone, they're alone. They might even motherfucking shed a tear for all the wrong that they did. Whether that be to a family member, to a woman, to a sibling. That sibling they call their best fucking friend. They think about that shit because they don't have anybody. And it's the difference when you don't have anybody and because you're just a badass, rude, nasty, tainted person versus you don't have anybody because God has isolated you. You have to understand the difference. When you're in isolation, it's either for one or two reasons. God is elevating you or God is sitting you the fuck down so you can look in the mirror and see, who have I become? Yeah. Who the fuck have I become? Do you like who you become? And it's not always a yes or simple as no. You have to look at your actions, look at the people around you. What do you entertain? Where do you go? What's your environment like? What do you do in your spare time? What are your hobbies? If your hobbies consist of only smoking, consist of only drinking, consist of only going out and having a good time, having a temporary moment, that's not living. It sounds like you in hell and like you got a little bit of water. But without those things, are you happy? That's something that we all have to ask ourselves. When God isolates us, when God put us in a dungeon, that dungeon being our own mind, when you start to become a prisoner in your own mind, that's when you gotta look around like, hey, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? How did I get here? How did I mentally get here? Nobody was supposed to be here. Nobody was supposed to be in that dungeon, that prison. Because when we go in that prison, we're like in solitary. It's just us and our own thoughts. And when we keep thinking about that, we manifest that. And when we start manifesting that mentally, we start seeing it physically. So while you're in that isolation, you got to be mindful of the things that you think. It's okay to go back to the past because you have to learn from the past. You wouldn't be human if you didn't learn from the past. Don't separate yourself from the vessel. You are this soul maneuvering in this vessel. Take care of your vessel, but don't make your vessel your God. Make your soul your God box. That is your guide. That's your guide box. That little guide box in here, God gave you that. That's that walkie-talkie. Are you talking to your guide box? Is your guide box a little crooked? You got too much static in your guide box. Are you just be on that bro? Sometimes you just gotta slow down and let it all work out. And while you're working out, make sure you work out because we're tired of not caring about our health. We're tired of not giving a fuck. And when I say we the collective, it's too many of us out here with mental disorders. You know where mental disorders start? In your body. When you don't take care of yourself, when you don't get out in nature, that manifests to different psychological problems. Your membranes are disconnected. Your chemicals are waving on a length that shouldn't be there. They're out of range. They're either below range or just out of whack. So how can you get those chemicals in your mind to like calm down? Work out. It's like a hamster wheel. When you start moving your body, you start getting electricity flowing in your body, it goes in your mind and your mind start procreating. You start moving your body, now you started a flow, you started a domino effect. Now you working out, boom, now it's cool, you working outside, you walking outside, you seeing different things, you running into different people. You're not always at a fucking table shoving your fucking mouth.